other day.
That was one we did, like, Thursday.
Last week.
Oh, you mean the one that I redid at a different page?
Yeah. It's already graded. I think I already handed that back to you guys. No, I haven't done it yet. I'll hand back papers today. All right, here we go. So we're on section 6.5. It's the last day of finding the base. And then we're gonna look at new problems, maybe potentially at the end of class day. But the goal is to get through this homework first. Finding the base. I'm gonna do 2 examples today. And both examples, I'm gonna do both signs of work in case you like one piece of information versus the other. So we're gonna do 2 examples. We have methods, the 2 methods of actually doing these problems. The methods that I've put on the board for the past couple days here. The methods that we're gonna be using, number 1, we had an algebraic way of doing it, which you guys are really good at. So I'll put that back on the board because maybe you like that method first. And then the second way of doing it was the proportions. And that was the way we were doing it yesterday. So I don't really mind which one you prefer. We'll kind of show you today. But I want to go through 2 examples. So here's our first one. So I'd like you to write those down. In fact, these problems might be directly out of your book. So.
Sure. I keep losing pencils. I don't know where they keep going.
I'm not losing mine. Mine just keep breaking so easily.
Like every time I come back the next day, it's gone.
Where's my book?
22.5% of what number?
We need our book out.
Yeah, homework.
Yeah, we do.
17.
After we do the example.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the first example I want to do, and the reason why I picked this one out of your book, it had a decimal in it. So this is our first example. It's finding the base. Now I want to do these by 2 different methods in case you need it. So I'd like to have these in your notes. So if you haven't written these down, definitely write this one down first. Let me label the parts. What are the 3 words we've been using the last couple days?
Base rate.
Okay, base rate. This is your rate because it has a percent sign behind it.
Oh, come on.
This is base because it's after the word of. That's how I know where the base is. It's always after the word of. And the last one, what was the last word? Started with a P.
Started with a what?
P.
Percentage.
Percentage. The percentage is always the small number. Okay, so if we do this by algebra, so I'm going to do this by 2 different methods so you at least have 2 examples of it. Okay? First way, 22.5%. If I move my decimal over 2 spots, this is what it's going to look like. 22.5. So 0.225. The word of means to multiply. The what variable part, that's my variable, so I'm going to put a W for Ward. And then is an equal sign. And then we have the 17 behind it. Does that make sense how I'm setting this up? This is the way we did it for the past couple days. You guys are really good at this, knowing where to put the multiplication, knowing where to put the equal sign. And then since the W is not by itself, this is the part where you have to drag the number that's attached to the W to the other side and divide by it. So in this case, I'm going to leave the W alone, but I'm going to take the 17 and divide by the 0.225. Now on your calculators, I'll need to know what that number is.
What page is this on?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I can go look back at your bookmark.
Good one, Lord.
Yeah. You guys got calculators? Oh,
Yes.
you guys do. Good. All right, type that in. I want to see what you guys get. My calculator's right on the board.
75.555 and
Okay.
with the 6 at the very end.
75.555.
Third slave, by the way.
Is that right? So
Yeah.
is that what numbers get? Okay, that makes sense. The base is a bigger number. It's got to be bigger than the percentage number. The rate can be anything, but this percent, I want to make sure that we understand. Now, that's one way to do it. Okay. Second way to do this problem. If you wanted to, you could do it by the proportion way that we did it yesterday. Now I'm going to put this back on the board with my little key here. Rate goes here. 100 goes on the bottom of it. Percentage goes here. That's my small group number. And then the base goes on the bottom. So if you're going to set it up like this, you could do it this way. So if I was doing this exact same problem, the rate was 22.5%. over 100, and notice I didn't write that as a decimal, I just left it 22.5. The percent was 17, and the base was the number I was missing. So you could do it that way, do the whole calculation where you start with the number above or below the x, where you cross multiply and you divide. Again, I always start with the number above or below x, and you cross multiply diagonally,
Dang it.
and then divide by the 22.5, and it would have told you the same number. It would have told you the 75.5 repeating. Is that what it told you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could do it that way. I don't mind whatever one you choose. Whatever one you prefer, stick with that. If you like the algebraic way of doing it, do it the algebra way. If you like this whole idea of proportions, and you like that, that's fine. The only difference between these two methods, this method, if you use the proportions, you don't need to move the decimal. That's the only cool thing. You don't need to move the decimal. But on the algebraic way, when they start, they give you the rate, you have to move the decimal 2 spots before you start the problem. So that would be the only difference. All right, questions, comments about this method?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna pick another one from your book.
You know the pages are different, I think his book than ours.
Yeah, but his book has many page numbers up there.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. We good with that problem? Does everyone have it written down?
Yep.
Okay, all right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna leave that on the board just so you can use it. And this last example I'll leave on the board so you guys can use it for your homework. Okay, so hopefully you have that last one in your homework. All right, here we go. Da-da-da.
Where'd you get pull milk card again?
What?
You gonna pull milk card?
Yes. 36 is 24%. Let's see. What number? Okay, same exact idea.
31 is 20.
Okay, so let's label these things. So we have a couple different words.
Da-da-da-da. 156.
Okay, which number up here, which word, or which grouping, I have the little bubbles to help you out, which bubble is the base? Which one? 1, 2, or 3, which one's the base?
2.
What comes after the word of?
Oh, after?
Yeah.
Base.
Base, so that would be this one. So this is the base, because it comes after the word of. Okay, now, which one's the percentage?
36.
Yep, this percentage, it's the small number. And then which one's the rate?
44.
Yeah. The rate will always have the percent sign.
Also, I don't know this.
Okay, so if we set the problem, I'm gonna do this by algebraic way first. So by algebra, 36 is
30.
24% of
6.
W or whatever it is, okay? Whatever that what number is. Since there is a number attached to my variable, I'm gonna need to drag this to the other side and divide by it.
Telescope there.
0.24 equals W. Now, I do need one of you to type this in your calculator. 36 divided by 0.24, please. And this will give me my base, which should be bigger than 36.
150.
150, that made sense. Was it even? Did it have any decimal on it? Nice, good, nice clean number. All right, now, if you didn't like the algebraic way of doing it, and we did it by that percentage, or by the proportion way of doing it, I should say, the proportion way. The only difference here, 24% would go over the 100 because that's your rate, and you don't have to move a decimal in that. The percentage is at 36, and the base is the number that we're missing. And then all you have to do is cross multiply and divide. You start with the number above or below the variable, you cross multiply diagonally, and then you divide by the last number. So 36 times 100, and you divide by the last number you didn't touch, 24. And it should give you the 150. Do you see the difference in methods? You only have to do one of these methods. So if you like that method, stick with it. If you like this method, stick with that one. You don't have to do both for every problem. Does that make sense? So it makes it a lot easier. Okay, here's your homework. Here's your homework.
page.
Page 152.
Right there.
Page 152. You have problems.
Do not, whatever you do not go to page 666.
4 through 14.
The devil's number.
4 through 14. And that's exercise B's, the ones at the very top.
Did you know China forbids the number 5 because it's uneven and it's the death number in China? They just totally skip the number.
By the way, this isn't, that's a 766 page.
Okay, there you go. There's your homework.
It goes to 347. Let's do it. Let's give you a,
It goes